My family humiliated me on my birthday and posted it on social media. My 30th birthday was supposed to be a quiet affair. I've never been one for grand celebrations, especially not with my family. For the past 5 years, our gatherings have been more of an obligation than a celebration. My mother insists on hosting dinner at their house, my father grumbles about the cost, and my sister, Lorraine, acts like she's doing us all a favor by showing up. The conversations are filled with the same old jokes and underlying tensions. I usually count the minutes until I can leave. This year, things started off unusually. I received a text from my mother that morning, "Don't be late. We have a surprise for you." No happy birthday, just that cryptic message. I assumed it was another one of her misguided attempts at humor or perhaps an intervention of some sort. I arrived at their house around 6 p.m., already irritated because the bus was late, and my phone was nearly dead. As I walked in, I sensed something was off. They were all in the kitchen, pretending everything was normal, but Lorraine kept glancing at her phone and stifling giggles. My father looked at me with a smirk, daring me to react. My mother was fussing with decorations, which was out of character for her. At my spot at the table was a party hat with a big L on it. I asked what the L stood for, and my mother replied, "Oh, just a family joke." You'll see. Dinner was the usual awkward small talk. Lorraine bragged about her latest achievements, my father made snide remarks about my career, and I tried to ignore it all, scrolling through my notifications when I could. My mother was on her third glass of wine, which meant she was about to get more candid. After dinner, they brought out a huge box. My mother was grinning, and Lorraine had her phone out, recording. I already knew I was being set up, but I opened the box anyway. Inside was a massive, shiny trophy with "loser" engraved on the front in bold letters. Underneath was a fake diploma printed on computer paper that read "Most Underachieving Son" in Comic Sans. There was even a sash that said "loser" on it. I sat there, holding the trophy, while they all laughed. My father said, "It's all in good fun. Maybe this will motivate you." My mother started telling a story about how I never finish anything. Lorraine was filming the whole thing, narrating for her social media followers. I could see her friends reacting in real time, laughing at my expense. I asked them to stop, but they just laughed harder. My father said, "Well, someone's sensitive tonight." My mother added, "We just want to help you see reality." Lorraine started reading off comments from her friends, mocking me. I slammed the trophy down and told them I was done. My mother tried to laugh it off, but she looked embarrassed. My father stood up, got in my face, and said I was proving their point. He shoved my shoulder, not hard, but enough to make it clear he wanted to provoke me. I told him to back off. Lorraine was still filming, saying she was going to tag me so everyone could see what a sore loser looks like. I reached for her phone to stop her, but she pulled back and pushed me hard enough that I staggered into a chair. My father told me to get out if I couldn't take a joke. My mother just sat there, not saying anything, acting like she was the victim. I picked up my jacket and the sash, tossed them on the floor, and as I was leaving, Lorraine shouted after me, "Maybe you'll get a real life before you're 40. I heard my father mutter something about kids these days, and my mother was already on her phone, probably texting her friends about how I ruined everything. I slammed the door on the way out. Nobody followed me. It was already dark, and the street was empty. I stood there for a minute, trying to figure out why I even bothered. I checked my phone and saw that Lorraine's story already had comments from people I barely knew, laughing about my epic fail. I wanted to walk away and never come back, but then I remembered something. I'm the one who set up all their online stuff. My mother's side hustle, my father's club, Lorraine's influencer accounts, they all run because of me. They've never bothered to learn any of it. They just assume I'll do it because it's not real work anyway. I got home, plugged in my phone, and started writing this. I'm not the loser here, and I'm not about to just take it. Let's just say I have a couple of ideas, and they're not going to like what happens next. Not sure what I'll do yet, but I know one thing, they're going to remember this birthday, and not for the trophy. I didn't sleep that night. Not really. I tried, but every time I closed my eyes, the whole evening replayed like a loop I couldn't turn off. The laughter, the trophy, Lorraine's smug grin, my father's shove. I found myself sitting in the dark, sipping coffee I didn't even want, watching videos just to drown out my thoughts. By morning, I had 14 unread messages in the family group chat. The first few were from my mother, pretending nothing had happened. "So good to have everyone together," she wrote. "Hope you took your trophy home." I didn't respond. The next batch were Lorraine's screenshots, reactions from her friends. They were laughing at me. Some couldn't believe I stormed out. One said, "Classic Kent. Always the drama." Then came my father's messages. Long, angry paragraphs about how grown men don't get upset over jokes, and how I was embarrassing myself. I could practically hear his voice through the punctuation. I didn't respond to any of it. Instead, I made a new pot of coffee, sat at my desk, and opened my browser. See, here's the thing, I may be the disappointment of the family, but I'm also the one who keeps everything they rely on online running smoothly. My mother's handmade soap shop? I built the website, managed her payment systems, and even connected her shipping tool. My father's Veterans Club page? Same. Lorraine's blog, brand deals, and subscriber analytics? I handle it all. And I've been doing it for years, for free. No more. I logged into each of their accounts. Changed passwords. Removed their access. I didn't delete anything, just replaced every homepage with a polite, gray screen that said, "Under maintenance, contact administrator." It wasn't destructive. Just inconvenient. Enough to get their attention. By noon, my phone was buzzing almost nonstop. Lorraine was pinging me on every app she could think of. Messenger. Text. Instagram. She even tried LinkedIn. I saw 2 missed calls from numbers I didn't recognize, probably her friends or collaborators. My father sent me 3 messages in all caps. "This isn't funny. Fix it now." I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I made lunch and cleaned my apartment. It felt good. Like something was shifting, like I wasn't just absorbing their nonsense anymore. Around 3 p.m., my mother messaged again, this time with a different tone. "Hi, sweetheart. Can you stop by tonight? My laptop won't print invoices, and I really need to get orders out." I didn't answer. I knew why her invoices weren't printing, because I turned off the email routing connected to her receipt generator. She called. I ignored it. Then came another text. "Customers are asking for refunds. I really need your help." For a second, I felt bad. Then I remembered the trophy, the most underachieving son diploma, and that pity dissolved. Lorraine tried a different strategy, threats. "If you don't fix this, I'll tell everyone you're sabotaging me," she wrote. I replied, "It's my work. My rules." Next came the guilt trip. "You're ruining everything. I have sponsors waiting. Meetings this week." I reminded her she's the one who turned my birthday into a spectacle for her followers. She replied, "Get over yourself." So I blocked her for the rest of the day. That night, my father left a voicemail. His voice was controlled, but tense. "Family is family, Kent. You don't just walk away when people need you. You owe us better than this." I deleted it. He's never once apologized to me for anything. Not even when I was a kid and he'd humiliate me in front of relatives for fun. He believes being a father means being obeyed, not respected. At around 5:30, my mother left a voicemail of her own. Her voice cracked halfway through. "I didn't mean to hurt you, but this is serious, Kent. You have to think about the consequences of what you're doing. People depend on me. This isn't just about you." That was her go-to tactic, reframing every issue as everyone else's emergency. If I didn't help her, I wasn't just hurting her, I was ruining the whole family. I deleted that message too. Later that evening, I ran into my neighbor, Lydia. We don't talk much beyond greetings, but she paused when she saw me and asked if everything was okay. She said she heard a lot of noise last night. I laughed a little and just said, "Family stuff." She nodded like she understood. Everyone's got a version of this, I think. When I got back upstairs, I saw Lorraine had tried calling from 3 new numbers. I ignored them all. But I did get a DM from her boyfriend, Donovan. He's always been civil with me, never took sides. He asked if I was mad, and said Lorraine was freaking out. I replied, "Not your problem, but thanks." He said, "I just don't want to be caught in the middle." I believe him. Still muted him anyway. By nightfall, I'd had enough. I opened a document and started making a list of everything I'd ever done for them: technical support, website builds, digital maintenance, content scheduling. Every domain I purchased and paid for. Every hour I spent solving their problems. Then I made an invoice. It wasn't small. I charged premium freelancer rates and added a late fee for every day unpaid. I attached the invoice to a message in our shared family email thread. I also included a note. Until paid in full, access remains restricted. This is no longer a favor. This is a professional arrangement. 10 minutes later, my phone rang again. It was my father. I picked up, just to see what he'd say. He didn't disappoint. You're blackmailing your own family now? No, I said. It's not blackmail. It's business. He hung up. My mother texted. I can't believe you would do this to me. I replied. Believe it. Lorraine stayed silent for about an hour. Then she finally texted. Fine. How much? I sent her the invoice, with late fees and a due date. The rest of the evening, I ignored them. I posted a photo of the trophy to my private Instagram story with the caption. Never underestimate the family disappointment. Only a few people saw it, but it felt good. Before I went to bed, I saw an email come in from my father, CC'd to my mother and Lorraine. Subject, legal recourse. Body, we are considering next steps if Kent continues to obstruct family business. I laughed. They wouldn't dare. But if they wanted to treat this like a game, then they were finally playing by my rules. By the next morning, everything had escalated. I woke to nearly 50 unread messages. The family group chat was on fire: texts, missed calls, voicemails. It wasn't just the usual drama. This time, there was a sharper edge. Panic. My mother started with polite requests. Kent, please. Just 5 minutes of your time. That's all I need. By lunchtime, her tone had shifted. You're sabotaging your own mother's business. Do you understand how serious this is? Lorraine went from snide to strangely upbeat. She posted a selfie with the caption. When people try to bring you down, but you stay rising. But underneath the post, her comments were telling a different story, followers asking why her blog was offline, why her links were broken. One comment just said, professionalism matters. I could see it getting under her skin. My father, true to form, shifted tactics constantly. One message would be scolding me for being immature, the next pretending like none of this mattered at all. Then came the silence. Just a one-word message. Enough. But it wasn't enough. What really caught my attention wasn't their anger, it was the automated system alerts hitting my inbox. Failed logins. Payment processing errors. Missed analytics updates. Subscription renewals failing. It was like watching a controlled burn from a safe distance. And I still hadn't touched the deeper infrastructure. All I had done was change access permissions. That afternoon, my father tried to show up again. I saw his car pull up from my window. He didn't buzz, just stood in front of the building, staring up at the third floor like he expected me to look down and feel guilt. I didn't move. He stood there 5 minutes, then drove off. That night, Lorraine's boyfriend Donovan texted again. He seemed nervous. Said Lorraine had a sponsorship deadline and couldn't send the draft because her content system was down. He asked again if I could just fix her site real quick. I told him I don't do unpaid work anymore. Then I resent the invoice. He responded. You know she's not going to pay you. I replied. Not my problem. Muted him again. Day 2, things started unraveling further. My mother sent another email. Long and dramatic. She wrote about how her store was being flooded with refund requests, how customers were calling her personal phone. She tried guilt again. You're embarrassing the whole family. Everyone's watching. That line used to work on me. But not this time. I replied simply. Hire someone else. She left me on read. It was becoming clear they still didn't believe I'd follow through. That I'd just fix it if they pushed hard enough. That this was just another one of Kent's dramatic phases. So, I doubled down. I sent another formal message. This time, I included a detailed breakdown of the services I'd provided over the years. Hosting fees, maintenance hours, plugin licenses. Every domain name I purchased, every password I created. I attached it to the invoice again. I also added a new clause: late fees would now double every day. And, all future requests must be paid in advance. I CC'd Lorraine's professional email just to make sure her management team saw it. My father's response came within an hour. A full-page email, mostly bluster. You're destroying our family name. You're behaving like a stranger. This isn't how we raised you. I replied. I'm taking care of myself. That's all. His next message was a warning. If you don't unlock the accounts by morning, you're out of this family. I wrote back. Understood. He didn't reply again that day. My mother tried a different angle. She left a voicemail late at night. This one sounded less rehearsed, more shaken. I haven't slept. I haven't eaten. People are calling me in tears. Kent, you don't understand how this looks to others. Please stop making this about you. I stopped listening halfway through. It always ended the same way, with her making it about how she looked, not what she did. The next day, Lorraine finally called, not shouting, not sarcastic. Just tired. She admitted she was losing followers. That her scheduled content was gone. That sponsors were asking questions. She tried to sound professional, offered to pay after I restored everything. I told her, payment first. Written apology second. She hung up. 10 minutes later, a text. You'll regret this. I sent back a thumbs up emoji. Then blocked her again. By day 4, my father tried one last play. He copied some of his veteran buddies on an email chain, hoping they'd pressure me. 2 of them messaged me directly, asking what was going on. One of them was someone I actually liked growing up, a guy named Ed who used to fix lawnmowers in our neighborhood. He wrote, "Your dad's really upset. Can't you work this out like adults?" I replied, "I don't work for free anymore." That was it. Then came the Instagram comments. A few people who used to follow Lorraine started tagging me. Some were neutral, others accusatory. Be the bigger person. Family's all you've got. This is getting out of hand. Funny how none of them said anything when I was being humiliated at my own birthday. And just when I thought they were out of moves, my grandmother called. She left a voicemail. "I don't know what's going on, honey, but your mother's very upset. Could you just stop by and help her with her computer?" That one hurt. Because I love my grandmother. But I didn't reply. I wasn't going to drag her into this. It wasn't her burden to carry. By the end of the 4th day, I made one final move. I sent an updated invoice, with everything itemized. Late fees added. Payment in full required. And one additional term, I expect a written apology from each of them. Not passive-aggressive half measures. Real words, real responsibility. Then I wrote, "After payment, I'll return access and step down permanently as administrator. This is no longer a family matter. It's a professional boundary." And I blind copied the email so they couldn't stir up another group argument. That night, for the first time in days, I slept soundly. I woke up the next morning to a kind of chaos I hadn't anticipated. It wasn't just more calls and texts, it was volume turned up to 11. My phone vibrated nonstop for almost an hour before I silenced it. My inbox was flooded. Group chat. Voicemails. Missed calls. All 3 of them, my mother, father, and Lorraine, had entered full-on panic mode. But what caught me off guard wasn't just the repetition. It was the tone. No more sarcasm. No more jokes. Just desperation. Lorraine called me 11 times before 9 a.m. My mother tried from her phone, then her friend's phone, then from a number I didn't recognize. My father left voicemails that swung between angry and pleading. And somewhere in between it all, someone from my father's club, maybe a mutual contact, sent me a message that simply said, "Please respond. You're the only one who can fix this." It was surreal. I had to double-check that I hadn't made any public post or triggered an outage beyond the family stuff. But nope, everything else in my life was untouched. Only theirs was unraveling. Then it started to spill into my personal life. 3 people from my mom's local book club sent me messages on Facebook, each framed politely but unmistakably pressing. "Your mother's very distressed. Her business isn't functioning, and she says you're the only one who understands it." A few of Lorraine's influencer friends began tagging me in comments or DMing me directly. One even offered to pay me herself just to help Lorraine get back online. Another told me that Lorraine hadn't slept in 2 nights. I didn't reply to any of them. Some of the messages were kind. Others were clearly meant to pressure me. And then came the bounce notices. All the auto payments I'd disconnected were now failing publicly. One of my father's subscriptions posted a payment failed notice on his business group's page. Lorraine's site redirected to a blank template with "coming soon" in plain text. My mother's checkout system returned an error message. That's when the tone shifted again. My mother sent a long email. It started as an apology, or what I think she meant as one. "I never realized how much you did for us. I've depended on you too much, and now I'm facing the consequences." But right after that, the guilt came back in. I'm ashamed. People are asking questions. I can't keep pretending everything's fine. My father, surprisingly, didn't yell this time. He texted something short. We need to talk. Please. I'll listen. Lorraine sent a simple message, free of emojis and sarcasm. I'll pay. Just fix it. Please. That was the first time in years I'd seen her speak without pretense. But I didn't respond. Not yet. I let the full day pass. I cleaned my apartment. I read a book. I went for a long walk. I thought about all the times I'd given in to make their lives easier and my life smaller. I thought about the birthdays, the snide jokes, the subtle humiliation dressed up as humor. And when I came back inside that night, I sat down and sent them one last message. Subject, final notice, terms for restoration. Body. To Lorraine, mother, father. Effective immediately, I am offering the following resolution. Payment in full of the attached invoice, including all itemized labor and late fees. A written, signed acknowledgement from each of you of your role in the events at my birthday dinner. This includes a sincere apology and a clear statement that you understand why I've taken this action. Written confirmation that I am no longer expected or obligated to provide any unpaid services moving forward. Any future requests for support will be handled as professional engagements, with upfront payment. Upon receipt of these items, I will restore access to your digital platforms and transfer administrative control to you or a professional of your choosing. I will then permanently remove myself from all systems. You have 48 hours to comply. After that, I will consider the matter closed and will no longer respond to any requests regarding these platforms. This is not a negotiation. Kent. I hit send and muted the thread. It took them just under 24 hours. Lorraine was the first to comply. She paid the full amount, late fees and all. Her apology was short but genuine, typed up in a doc and attached without comment. Then came my mother. Her message was longer, emotional, and full of half apologies, but at least she admitted what they did was wrong. She paid, too. My father took the longest. He never sent a written apology, but he did send the payment along with a PDF that just said, I still don't agree with how you handled it, but I'm sorry for how it started. I let it stand. Once all payments and apologies were in, I restored their sites. I sent them a zip file with documentation, passwords, and instructions. Then I removed myself as administrator across the board. When it was done, I sent one last note. All systems restored. As agreed, I am no longer affiliated with your digital platforms. Please do not contact me for further technical support. I blocked their numbers. Left email as the only point of contact. Over the next few days, I got a few tentative feelers. Lorraine sent a heart emoji, I ignored it. My mother sent a brief hope we can move forward message. My father didn't follow up at all. They're trying to pretend this is behind us. But it's not, really. This was never just about a website or a trophy. It was about years of being the family's convenient afterthought. Of being ridiculed in the open and used in the background. And for the first time, I stopped accepting that. Now, the silence is peaceful. My phone isn't buzzing. No one's demanding I fix something at midnight. I've reclaimed my time, my energy, and my dignity. People sometimes say be the bigger person. But sometimes, the bigger person is the one who walks away and locks the door behind them. Thanks for reading. Maybe one day I'll write more, but for now, I'm finally at peace. Thank you for watching the video. Like it if you watched the video to the end and don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice day.